This is my 2021 John Deere 2025r, and as it sits right now, it's currently a paperweight. And this certainly isn't a video that anyone wants to make if you own this tractor or really any sort of piece of equipment. Before the vitriol and the sarcasm starts, I do want to start off by saying I love this tractor. I recommend to anyone who has more than 2 or 3 acres to take care of, you need to get one of these Swiss Army tractors. I certainly don't use it every day, or even every week for that matter, but when I do need it, it is the exact thing that I'm looking for. The attachments are great, the lifting capacity, the size, all these things are exactly what I was looking for when I bought this tractor. However, this is now the second time in less than 200 hours it's got to go back to the dealer, and this one's not going to be cheap. Just to recap for anyone who's new to the channel, roughly about 40 hours of ownership. The front tie rod had bent and the wheels were facing each other, making it undrivable. To their credit, they came and picked up the machine. I did have to pay for the transportation, but hey, can't have it all. And they replaced the front tie rod under warranty, and the warranty claimed weak material. Cool, no big deal. That was about 2.5 years ago. And since then, the machine performed flawlessly. Anything that I asked for it, it did. I had no issues. It runs the backhoe fine, the front end loader, the wood chipper is my only extra attachment that I have for it, and it works perfectly fine. That was until yesterday. I had a little chicken business to do over there, so I had the machine out on the far side of the property. Didn't overwork it, barely did really anything with it, and as I was backing into the parking spot, this happened. So as you can see, I was really taxing that machine, backing it into its parking spot after 20 minutes of work. And if you notice in the video, there are some parts strewn across the ground. This is the first piece, the biggest of the pieces. You can see the cooling fins from the bottom of the transaxle and this here bolt. I'm going to switch over to the handheld so you get a better view. So these were the parts that were laying down on the driveway. Again, a closer view. This is the bottom of, this should actually be oriented this way. The bottom of the transmission, or the transaxle, whatever you want to call it. This bolt, and then another chunk that fits right over here. Fits right in there. And if you notice here, this would be the inside of the machine. If you notice here, this bolt fits right into that divot there. Right there. And you know, something that you hear a lot on YouTube, you hear people say, oh, well, I'm not an expert on these things, but I think this. Here's the thing. I am an expert. I have a bunch of degrees on the wall and a bunch of certifications and a job that pays me well to be an expert on things that fail and their failure modes. Now, I'm going to hazard a wild guess here. I'm going to pull up the parts diagram so you guys can see it. And I'm going to go ahead and say this bolt is one of the ring gear or bull gear bolts. And being that I see no sort of thread locker or anything on this bolt, it loosened itself out, got caught against the bottom of the transmission or transaxle, and popped itself out. And what's one last thing? I'm going to switch you over again one more time off the hard cam and into the handheld. Let's go take a look at the bottom of this thing. So there's the bottom of the transaxle. You could see the outward bend of the case itself. So the case failed, the aluminum case failed, but why did it fail? I'm going to scooch around and show you what I can see. So as you can see right there, there's the ring gear. So I'm going to go ahead and say that bolt backed itself out, rode down those gears, and just popped out the bottom of the transaxle. And that effectively killed the machine. Now let's get into the part of the video where we dispel the comment section. Even though I'd like a discussion on the video, I'd like to go ahead and start dispelling some rumors. The last time when the front end bent in, I had any number of comments saying it was user error. Hopefully the beginning of the video where you just see me backing in, I'm not overworking the machine, I'm not beating on it, I'm not racing it, shows that, you know, it's not user error, at least not in any way that I can figure. Second, maintenance. Let's take a look over here. If you've ever watched the channel before, you've ever seen anything I've ever done, I am a huge maintenance nerd. Grease is cheap, parts are expensive. I'm a big believer in that. And in this machine's case, it is no different. As a matter of fact, I even did an extra step that's not detailed in the service manual in this video over here, where I performed an extra step so we could prevent something like this, or, you know, other failures involving the hydraulic system. I went ahead and at 50 hours of this machine's life, I went ahead and changed the hydraulic filter, changed it all, did a fluid flush, just to keep the machine running. So last weekend, or a couple weekends ago, I should say, as you can see here, I did maintenance on the machine. Engine oil at 173 hours on 5/11. It is now June 1st, so a couple weeks ago. And how many hours do I have on it now? Exactly 174. So 1 hour of use since its last maintenance period. I don't think it was maintenance that did this in. Greasing, engine oil, checked the hydraulic fluid. It was clear and fine. So I don't think it was maintenance on this one. And I know the big one that's going to come up, oh, operator error. You were in four-wheel drive. I wasn't in four-wheel drive. It's actually something I'm stupidly attentive to. I try to keep the machine out of four-wheel drive as much as possible. As you've seen in previous videos, I get myself stuck in places, and when I'm in the woods, I'll put it in four-wheel drive, but there's plenty of slippage there. I'm not unfamiliar with the four-wheel drive. As a previous Jeep owner, trucks and SUVs with four-wheel drive that I own, I'm very familiar with the four-wheel drive on dry pavement versus wet pavement. That is not something that I did, so I'll be honest with you. I'd probably admit it. Hey, look how I broke my tractor. That wasn't the case here. I wasn't in four-wheel drive. To me, in my estimation, I'd say this $3 bolt backed itself out, rode along that gear. You can see where the hardened teeth kind of dented this bolt. The aluminum's not going to do that because it's aluminum, and this is a probably grade 8 bolt. I don't know. I'll put it in the bottom here. And damaged the bolt and then popped it out of the bottom. So here comes the next question. Is this going to be covered under warranty? I don't actually know. The machine, again, is less than 3 years old. 2 years and 8 months old as I own it. Has 174 hours on it, so we're really not putting a ton of time on it. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of those hours are from running the wood chipper. But it's still PTO, so, I mean, it could affect it. But when I called the dealer, they said, well, you only have limited warranty, and we don't know if it's covered. We're going to have to take it apart, see what happened, and then submit it to John Deere to see if it's warranty. That said, these machines do have a 2-year, essentially bumper to bumper on them, but there's a 5-year powertrain, which includes the engine and the transmission, transaxles, all that stuff. So as it sits right now, we have a pretty good idea of what failed, pretty much how it failed. There was no sort of bolt retention in there, and a bolt backed itself out. I have to say, I think it's going to be covered under warranty, because when I looked at the price of the parts of all these things, this is looking to be between $10,000 and $14,000 failure on this machine. So I think on the outcome of this, out of everything, if you were buying it, you bought one, you're thinking about buying one, buy the extended warranty. I actually reached out a couple of years ago to Courtney over at Good Works Tractors and said, hey, what do you think about that? What's your opinion on extended warranties? And he said, you know, failures are relatively rare. Large failures are relatively rare, especially with the engines on these. They're proven, they'll run thousands of hours. Cool. I kind of agreed with them on that one. So I didn't buy the extended warranty, and now I'm kind of kicking myself just so that to alleviate and help me sleep at night. No, oh no, it's covered. However, this is a powertrain issue. It does have 5 years or 2,000 hours. I'm not close to either one of those, but I am going to inquire if I can, retroactively or put on the I think it's called Power Guard extended warranty. I would highly recommend you to get those. Why? Again, as someone who investigates failures, things are going to happen. Most of the time, most people, especially with these aren't really rated for agriculture or construction use. They're residentially owned. That means you have time to maintain them. I am proof of that. With a job and kids and everything, I still carve out time to maintain all my machines. However, the one thing you can't maintain against is poor workmanship. You can't maintain against weak material and things bending and breaking. You can't maintain against a Friday machine where the man or woman putting these bolts in maybe didn't torque them all the way, or didn't put thread locker on, or didn't bend over the little bolt capture device that should or maybe isn't even on there to prevent a $14,000 failure. So in that case, do yourself a favor and get whatever extended warranty is available to you, because you can't maintain against stupidity or things that are assembled in the USA with imported parts. I'm not even going to get into that discussion. I think Tractor Time with Tim has a video about them making these, and they say that they're made in South Carolina or Georgia, wherever it was. The front end loader is made in China. I don't have an issue with the front end loader. I don't know where this thing is made. So I'm really not even going to get into that discussion. However, what I do know is there's a less than 3-year-old machine that still has a lot of money left on its payments with very little hours on it, and it's exploded. It's a paperweight, and I'm not real happy. Finally, I'm looking for some input from you guys. As you saw in the security camera video, this is what my driveway looks about 24 hours later. Does anybody know how to get 4 gallons of hydraulic fluid off of your driveway? Because one thing that won't be warranted is my marriage. Mama's not real happy that this happened right here, right at the house. It's unsightly, it stinks, and it's probably slippery as all get out. So if you have any input on how to get hydraulic up, I'm gonna try Dawn, a deck brush, and a power washer later, but I don't think it's gonna really do anything. So if you guys have any input on how to remedy this a little bit, I'd be really, really appreciative. It stinks, literally and figuratively. So that's it. That's all I have to say right now about this. They're coming to pick up the tractor early next week. We'll see what they say about warranty. I have no idea about lead times. I've done a little bit of research as far as this ever happening before. It seems like it might have been a common issue, or at least an issue in 2305s from the early 2000s. But even still, the information is a little bit sketchy. I may just be the 1 in a million that it happened to. Yay, why couldn't it be the lottery? I win the unlucky lottery of the day. So once they come and pick it up, I get any further information, I'll make a follow-up video and close the loop, as they say. I gotta say, I'm not very happy. I don't think I can ever trust this machine again. I don't know what kind of metal contamination has gone through the hydraulic system. Hopefully the filters did their jobs, but they're made for little things, not explodey parts. And I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for this machine. Fix it up, sell it, fix it up, trade it in, fix it and trade up. I don't know. Is this property too much for this machine? Am I taxing it and not even knowing it? We do have a lot of elevation changes, but 174 hours really shouldn't be the death knell of any machine, as evidenced by the 748 that's over 20 years old and has the same engine and it's running like a top with almost 3 times as many hours on it. I don't know. This oversized prima donna has really shaken my trust in, I'm not going to say Deere overall, but at least this particular COVID machine. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sure I glazed over something, or if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'm pretty good about getting back to them. I wanted to make a follow-up video about the wood chipper and all the other things that have gone on, but Alas, I guess this is a follow-up video of sorts. Hey, I used my tractor and it blew up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one, hopefully with some good news. Goodbye. You're the greatest. Please don't ever leave me. Oh, you're the best.